Esmeralda. What is this one? Morning, Ms. Miranda.
Good morning, Your Honor.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Yourselves?
Good, good.
Sorry, we still can't be there in person. It'd be more fun.
The screen. If anybody that can hear me, if they could please unmute. There we go, thank you. Okay, the screen mark JJ, your name, please?
Jessen.
I'm sorry, Jazz Jessen?
Jess, Jes.
Yes, Jessen, okay. And who are you,
Pardon?
and who are you with?
I'm the owner of Pack and Ship Express.
Okay. And its last name is Jessen? I'm sorry, G,
Yes,
okay.
Jessen.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Mr. Jessen. Okay, and then we have Juan Aguirre. Can you
Your
hear-
Honor, that's my legal assistant, Mr. Juan Aguirre.
Okay,
Thank you.
we have DHL, somebody from DHL.
Yes, my name is Joshua Barcone.
You have,
Last name is Ian Boy, Arcon is in Nancy.
okay, and do you have video?
I don't.
Okay. And then the screen marked Scotty Bear, if you could identify yourself, if you could unmute. You need to unmute.
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
your
My name
name?
is Scotty Asher.
Scotty Asher, okay. You're the plaintiff.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, are we ready? Are we expecting anybody else? No? Okay. Okay, the witnesses, if you could please raise your right hand. Mr. Asher?
Yes, yes, sir.
Mr. Gear and Joshua Barcone, if you could please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony about the gift should be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Asher, you brought the suit. You want to tell me what this is about?
Yes, Your Honor. On May 1st, 156 days ago, I paid Pack and Ship $520 for expedited delivery, a service called Worldwide Express. The package was fully insured. They charged me a small fortune, actually. I paid for the express service with insurance because the contents had sensitive electronics and candy, so the package would arrive in good shape. These two companies have given me a million excuses why this box remains undelivered for what amounts to a half a year now. DHL and Pack and Ship sent two attorneys rather than deliver the box or pay the insurance for just what amounts to an insignificant amount of money. On June 29th, I emailed, which the package was 2 months late, I emailed Pack and Ship requesting the box to be returned. This was acknowledged and Pack and Ship issued me the terms of that return, and I agreed, which they did. They failed to do that. All I received is misinformation from both the defendants. DHL has done everything to shield itself from giving any type of support or information. The box didn't move forward to the destination or be returned, as both DHL and Pack and Ship has acknowledged. I never received the service I paid for of $520. These two companies have blamed everybody except you, Your Honor. This needs to be fixed, and I came to court to hopefully get a resolution here.
Okay. Okay, well, Mr. Miranda, who do you represent?
Your Honor, I represent Pack and Ship Express.
Okay. And in both Pack and Ship Express and DHL were both sued, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have any questions of Mr. Asher, Mr. Miranda?
Actually, I would not cross-examine Mr. Asher at this point. I'd rather just call Mr. Jessen, the principal of Pack and Ship.
Let me see. Mr. Barcone, do you have any questions of Mr. Asher?
I have no questions. I have responses, but I do not have any questions.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Miranda, do you would like to call Mr. Jason?
Yes, Your Honor. Carlos Miranda, counsel for Pack and Ship. Mr. Jessen, are you aware why we're here today?
Yes,
What is your role in this litigation?
I'm the owner of Pack and Ship Express. On May 1st, Mr. Asher came into the store to ship a package to the Philippines. We prepared the package for shipment, and we in turn gave the package to DHL, who shipped the package to the Philippines.
And are you the person who directly attended to Mr. Asher?
I am.
Sorry, could you please repeat that?
I am the person, yes.
So you have firsthand knowledge of everything you're testifying to.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me what normally happens when a client comes in or customer comes in and wants to ship something overseas? What's involved?
Okay, so Mr. Asher presented the box and he gave us the address in the Philippines that he wanted to ship the box to. So we weigh and measure the box dimensions and basically with that, with the weights and dimensions, we give the customer options, in this case, Mr. Asher, on different shipping companies. We can ship international through the Postal Service, through UPS, through DHL, and through FedEx. And so we presented Mr. Asher with the options of the different carriers that can ship internationally. Generally, we use DHL and FedEx for international shipments. In this case, after giving Mr. Asher the price, he opted to ship the package, selecting DHL services. And so at that point, anything that shipped outside of the country, we need a commercial invoice. It's a requirement for any international package. We prepare that electronically on our computer system. And what that entails is the shipper's information, their name and address and phone number, the recipient's information, name, address, phone number. They're also called the consignee. It lists the tracking number assigned, it lists the date, and then it also lists the items inside the package. In this case, I asked Mr. Asher what the contents of the box included, and he listed off the items. There was a used iPad, shoes, candy, perfume, a jacket, another iPhone, and then another cell phone. And so I asked Mr. Asher if he wanted to declare a value for either insurance purposes or for customs value. So on an international shipment, we can declare both values. Just to give a little background, insurance is for loss or damage. The customs value is for the value that the recipient may pay customs or duties to the foreign country. And so Mr. Asher told me that he wanted to value the shipment at $1,100. And so if you're valuing the shipment for insurance purposes, you also have to make that value the same for customs. You can't tell customs that it's not worth anything, but then declare something for insurance. You can declare customs value, but you don't have to declare insurance. But if you do declare insurance, you have to match that to the customs value. And the recipient may pay duties and taxes on that value. And so I asked him the value, and he came up with that number of 1,100, and we assigned values to each of the items. I said that if the package is lost or damaged, you will have to prove with receipts the value of the items. And so at that point, I processed the shipment by printing the electronic commercial invoice. We had Mr. Asher sign it, and then it gets attached to the package. And at that point, Mr. Asher paid for the shipment using a credit card, and I gave him the receipt. I circled the tracking number stating this is the expected delivery, which was listed on the receipt as May 17th. And I also explained that customs can slow the process down if they want to. If they want to open the shipment, X-ray it for whatever reason, they have the ability to do so. We're relying on their speeds to, if they want to check the package out or slow it down.
Okay, so package ship's role in this process is simply to intake, prepare, complete the invoice, establish the values for insurance and customs, and then does DHL pick it up, or do you drop it off at DHL?
DHL picks up the package. They pick up. And the value of the insurance, I got that from Mr. Asher. I didn't create that myself.
And so once DHL picks it up, it's out of your hands?
That's correct.
And to the best of your knowledge, you said this was on May 1st, and to the best of your knowledge, did the package arrive in the Philippines?
Yes, it arrived in the Philippines.
And do you recall on what date approximately it arrived in the Philippines?
I don't remember the exact date.
But you know it's in the Philippines.
It's in the Philippines. It was within a few days.
And how do you know it's in the Philippines?
The tracking information that DHL had on their website showed that it was in Cebu, a part of the Philippines.
So there's the package lost?
It's not lost.
Has it been stolen? Have the contents been stolen?
It's not been stolen.
To the best of your knowledge, has it been destroyed?
No,
And to the best of your knowledge, has it been abandoned?
no.
Okay. Now, I don't believe Mr. Asher disputes that it arrived in the Philippines. I think he disputes everything that happened after it arrived in the Philippines. Did he come and complain to you why it was taking so long to have it delivered by DHL to the consignee in the Philippines?
I don't remember. If I remember, I did not hear from Master Asher either by phone or voice or telephone or email. What I recall is I followed up on June 10th. I spoke to Mr. Asher about the status of the package because I noticed that it had not yet been delivered.
But it had arrived in the Philippines, it just hadn't been delivered to the recipient.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and so what did you do at that point to help Mr. Asher?
I told them that I was going to reach out to DHL to find out why it wasn't being delivered, why it hadn't been delivered.
And did you reach out to DHL?
Yes, I reached out to their research department. I believe it was on June 10th, and they told me that they were missing a 3 specimen signature from the recipient. And so when I found that out, I called Mr. Asher back, and he said that the recipient had provided all of the documents needed. And so I asked him to forward the documents to me so that I could forward them to DHL to try to get the package delivered.
Okay. Now, earlier you said that your store helps prepare or does prepare what you refer to as a commercial invoice, correct?
That's correct.
And is that the document marked as Exhibit A in the DHL exhibits?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and so you and Mr. Asher, Mr. Asher gave you the information that appears on a commercial invoice, correct?
That's correct.
Did you physically inspect the box? Is it opened up and you look at it, or you rely on what Mr. Asher told you?
So Miranda, I want to, if we're going to refer to exhibits, I want to bring them up on the screen. I believe you all emailed each of you all emailed some exhibits, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm just looking for it right now. I have some from Joshua Barcone. I see those.
Right.
Is that the ones we're referring to or no?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, DHL was pretty thorough in the exhibits, so I just decided to use theirs. I did send in my exhibits, which is actually an exhibit that DHL produced, but it was incomplete. The bottom half was cut off. So with a commercial invoices, Exhibit A of DHL, I'm also going to Exhibit B, which is the receipt given to Mr. Asher by Pack and Ship.
Okay, here, let me just pull this up. Let me just show. Okay, I have an email here from Juan Aguirre, and that's,
Yes.
you want me to refer to those, or there's another one down here from Joshua Barcone?
Joshua Barcone.
The open these?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and then the first exhibit you're referring to is,
Exhibit A, that one, Your Honor.
okay,
Mr. Jessen, was this the commercial invoice that you referred to in your testimony?
Yes, this is the commercial invoice that I prepared on our computer and printed out and had Mr. Asher sign.
Okay. And did you physically inspect the contents of the box?
I did not.
So when you received the box, it was sealed.
Yes,
And so you relied on what Mr. Asher told you was in the box to complete this form.
that is correct.
Okay. And let's go to Exhibit B, Your Honor, of the DHL exhibits. Mr. Jessup, can you tell me what this form is?
This is the receipt that was printed out at the end of the transaction after Mr. Asher paid the charge with his credit card. It shows it's being shipped via DHL. It shows the recipient's address. It shows a portion of the contents. It's abbreviated, so there's only a few items listed on the actual receipt. It shows the tracking number and the expected arrival and the declared value that Mr. Asher gave.
Thank you, Mr. Jessen. Your Honor, this receipt is actually incomplete. Since it's a picture, it's cut off at the bottom. So the version of the evidence that Mr. Barcone provided, for some reason it's chopped off. There's some additional provisions at the bottom of the receipt, which is why I submitted the only one exhibit from Juan Aguirre. And it's a complete copy of the receipt, Your Honor.
Okay, bring that up.
Okay.
Is there more pages?
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. It happens to me also, Your Honor, every once in a while. I believe it's only 3 pages.
Let's see if I download it and bring it up. Let's see.
Yeah, it's there. It's just not downloading yet. There you go.
Okay. Okay, so here's the full.
Yes, Your Honor. And so, Mr. Jessen, can you explain to the court what it says at the bottom of the receipt, starting with subject to the rules and regulations?
Yes, that's any shipment that we produce. That's on the bottom of each receipt, and it just says, subject to the rules and regulations of each carrier, all claims must be made through this office. So it's basically, in this case, we ship via DHL, and so the terms and conditions of DHL's contract of carriage of the item are the rules that are in effect.
And how many shipments over your career have you managed through DHL? Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands?
I purchased the store in 2017, and it's been in the hundreds since I've been there.
Okay, and have you ever had a problem like this before?
Never.
And so what, in your experience, is the reason that Mr. Asher's package has not ended up in the hands of the consignee, the recipient, as of the date of this hearing?
It's my understanding that the recipient or consignee has not provided all of the paperwork needed to clear customs, Philippine customs, and or pay the taxes and fees due.
And does Package Ship have any control over that?
No,
Have you ever spoken to the recipient?
I have not spoken to the recipient. No,
You ever
it's just
communicated
Mr.
with-
Asher.
Have you ever communicated with her via email, text, messaging apps?
Not the recipient.
Okay. Is it also your understanding that there may have been some undeclared items in the shipment that you weren't aware of?
Looking at the exhibits that DHL provided, apparently there was watches that were inside the package that Mr. Asher did not declare.
Your Honor, if I could go back to DHL's exhibits, Exhibit D.
Exhibit D.
Yes, Your Honor, Exhibit D of DHL, correct? There, okay. There, but now you just passed it. I'm sorry, Your Honor, stop. I believe there's 2 Exhibit Ds. There's a typo in the DHL exhibit, so the first Exhibit D. There,
Yes,
perfect.
brother.
That page. Yes, and I'm sure Mr. Barcone can elaborate on this, but could you scroll down to the very last entry, September 27th? And I would like to point out to the court that an issue has now arisen that we weren't aware of before, that Philippines Customs discovered 4 undeclared items consisting of 4 watches inside the package. So to the extent that the package hasn't been delivered before because Philippine Customs was waiting for documentation from the consignee, and now appears that there's new issues and new reasons why this package may not be delivered, maybe not even delivered at all, but it's not Pack and Ship's problem, and it's beyond Pack and Ship's control. We weren't aware that there could have been additional items in the box that were not declared to us by the shipper.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Asher, do you have any questions of Mr. Jessen?
I do.
Okay.
Mr. Jessen, was the package delivered to the address that was on the receipt, sir?
It has not been delivered to the recipient, no.
Okay. And is Worldwide Express an exclusive service, sir?
I'm not sure I understand.
Is Worldwide Express a expedited premium service?
It's the DHL international service. I don't believe they have any other service.
Did you provide me an arrival date for $520?
Yeah, I provided you an expected arrival date on the receipt, yes.
Your testimony said you never talked to Mary Joy. Did Mary Joy send you an email with all the signatures and details from her personal email address, giving you the details specifically?
No, the email came from you.
No? Are you sure about that? Because I have that email.
Is my recollection that you forwarded the email to us.
Okay. On June 16th, you sent me an email saying, I apologize for the delay. I just got off the phone with DHL Research. The representative was very helpful. He said the Philippines has responded and they confirmed that they have the 3 specimen signature and Mary Joy both from her that she supplied and that you were forwarded this information. And he said that the package is in customs clearance processing. Is that your email, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And you just testified to this court that I have not communicated with you.
No, I said, Mary, I have not communicated with Mary Joy. I've only communicated with you.
We have emailed you repeatedly, including asking for the package back, that you gave us a procedure outlined in Exhibit B, saying that
Mr.
I
Asher,
want the package returned. Yes, sir.
Mr. Asher, who's we?
Oh, sorry. Me. I apologize. Just me, sir. I emailed Mr. Jessup on June 29th when the package was 2 months late, and he offered me, Scott, DHL has provided us a procedure to the package ship back. This is my Exhibit B that I submitted to the court.
Mr. Asher, do you want to refer to your exhibit? I only consider exhibits that are presented to the court. I don't go over these in advance. So if you want me to refer to it.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I did submit this exhibit yesterday.
Okay, so let me find your email. 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Let's see right here. Okay. Now, what exhibit do you want me
Exhibit C, or sorry, Exhibit B.
B? Okay.
Yes. This is an email that I sent to Pack and Ship when the box was 2 months late at this point. The box wasn't moving forward. The box wasn't moving anywhere. And basically with the emails from before and Mr. Jessup's emails saying that.
Mr. Asher, I'm going to give you an opportunity to testify as to your exhibits, but right now you're in the process of cross-examining Mr. Jessen. So
Okay.
if we want to come back to you to talk, that's fine.
Sure. Mr. Jessup, do you remember this email that I sent to you asking for the package back, sir?
Yes.
Okay. How come the package wasn't returned, sir?
I said, if you look at your exhibit, you can see what I emailed you. Scott, DHL US has provided the procedure to have the package shipped back here. Before we initiate this, I want to make sure you understand the process and agree to it. If you decide that you do want to have the package shipped back, DHL will charge the shipping fee for the return shipment back to us. Before we will release the package back to you, we will need to have this fee paid by you. The reason they are charging the shipping fee back is that the package, or is that the issue that a package was not delivered in the Philippines is a customs clearance issue, and that's not the result of DHL's fault or error. Are you certain you want to go ahead and initiate this process rather than complete the documents on the Philippine side? And you emailed back, I don't agree with the fee. At that point, you told me that you were not going to agree to have the package, to reimburse us for the package being shipped back, so I didn't initiate that.
Can I continue reading, Your Honor, on this exhibit?
Where, is it farther down?
No, he said on my first line says, I don't agree with the fee, but I wanted to finish reading, seeing how he started. I will pay the fee to get back the merchandise that I was charged $522 for shipping that was never performed. When you have the merchandise back in your possession, I will sue you and DHL in small claims court and let a judge figure out the cost and fees. Is that not correct, sir?
That's the whole email, but when you say I don't agree with the fee, that's when I did not agree to pay to have the shipment come back.
Sir, haven't I contacted you, or sorry, didn't I contact you on several occasions trying to get this matter resolved?
I mean, you had many, many emails to us.
You just testified that I really hadn't talked to you. Which is it, sir?
I object, Your Honor. He didn't testify that he hadn't talked to Mr. Asher. He testified he hadn't talked to the recipient, the female recipient in the Philippines. He never testified he had never talked to Mr. Asher.
Mr. Asher, I recall the same. I don't think he denied talking to you.
Well, you know, I have contacted him many times about this package, trying to resolve it. And
we'll stipulate that he contacted him many times. We've never disputed that there's been a lack of communication.
And all I've gotten is very bad information from Pack and Ship, including.
Well, then now's your opportunity to show that information. So.
Okay. And sir, it says in your testimony that you prepared the package.
We made sure that it was sealed properly.
Okay. And also, Your Honor, they testified on a document from Customs that was produced 7 days ago after 155 days of this package being undelivered. I mean, I've never been presented with this information, and I don't know where it came from, but I do have an accounting that identifies with receipts everything that was in the package with receipts.
Objection, there's no questions here. Are you done cross-examining Mr. Justin?
Yeah, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you like to say, but again, this is questions of Mr. Justin at this point.
Yeah, well, they brought up the package being at Customs that
You can ask him about it. Let's go to that. But
so, yes, sir. You said in your testimony that you thought there was items undeclared. Is that correct, sir?
I said that now, after seeing the exhibits provided by DHL, yes.
Is there any pictures of these items, any better information rather than just somebody stated there was some items missing?
Your Honor, I object. DHL is present. He can cross-examine DHL on that point. Mr. Justin testified the extent of his knowledge about the recent information.
okay, well, Mr. Justin can state that he doesn't know, or I'm not privy to that.
I'm not, the only time I was aware of these watches was when this exhibit came from DHL.
And did DHL contact you about this?
About the watches?
About the undeclared items that they're claiming?
No.
Did you contact me about that? I'm your customer, your package has not been delivered because these items are undeclared?
Your Honor, I object. Mr. Pack and Ship is represented by counsel. Mr. Asher cannot contact them directly in this matter since it's in litigation commenced by Mr. Asher.
Mr. Jessup has sent me many emails, Your Honor.
Okay, after the lawsuit was filed?
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Justin,
Can I, yeah, after the lawsuit was filed, my communication with Mr. Asher was I didn't really communicate with him.
Didn't really, or not at all?
Your Honor, I was copied. I was forwarded all those emails. Mr. Asher would send threatening, insulting emails to Mr. Jessen. As a matter of fact, he emailed him this weekend, and I'd given Mr. Asher a lot of latitude since he's pro se, and I was hoping to get this matter resolved by keeping communication open between the parties. But it finally got to the point where they were abusive in nature, and I respectfully asked Mr. Asher to stop communicating directly or sending emails in which Mr. Jessen was included in the email stream. And this is all irrelevant at this point, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Asher, I mean, I'm gonna allow you to ask it, but again, he's represented by an attorney, and, the proper channels.
Okay. Your Honor, I was, a customer of his, and I was not made aware of any of these declared items that are now something undeclared items. Sorry, that was something new. And, I paid Pack and Ship to deliver.
Let's move forward. You can ask Mr. questions. The entry is September 27th, which is, I don't know, 10 days ago. So we're.
Yes, just a few days ago, Your Honor. Yes, I'm done. I apologize, Your Honor. I just am trying to get some answers on my package.
That's fine. Okay, no other questions?
No other questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Barcone, do you have any questions of Mr. Jessen?
I do not have any questions.
Okay, Mr. Menando, you want to proceed?
Your Honor, I'll have Mr. Jessen rest. If nobody else wants to cross-examine, I have no further questions.
Okay, do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, that's the only witness.
Okay, I'm going to give Mr. Asher, I'm going to give you an opportunity to, in your initial testimony, you didn't offer any exhibits, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to offer whatever you would like to offer up. So go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. I submitted 4 exhibits to the court beforehand.
Let me get them. Okay, you tell me which one you want me to go to.
Exhibit A, Your Honor. We'll start with that. So Exhibit A basically is a email from Pack and Ship. I received several emails from Pack and Ship. The package was obviously delayed, and this email is particularly interesting, and I won't read the whole email, but I will go down here to the second paragraph where he says, the package is in custom clearance processing right now, and it's in the hands of the Philippine government, not DHL. The clearance process can take time, and I know that has been waiting for over a month now, but the clock has started again, and they confirm that they have the 3 specimen signatures, and there is nothing DHL can do to speed up this process. The next exhibit, actually, we covered Exhibit B with the email, me requesting the box back. And basically what Mr. Jessup talked about in this email, I requested the box to be returned. At that point, the box hadn't moved for 2 months, and I contacted DHL on many occasions and was not given any good information. And it was just basically finger pointing back and forth to DHL. So I requested the box to be returned. Pack and Ship laid out a return, what's he called here? Provide a procedure to have the package shipped back was Pack and Ship Express terms. I agreed to these terms and wanted the box returned. The box was never returned. And if you scroll down one more notch here, Your Honor, it also shows DHL send me a message, the Airware bill 5256, which is the last 4 numbers of the air bill, that you stated that this was going to be returned home. So DHL actually knew that the package was returned home, reflecting of my agreeing to the email that Pack and Ship stated that, Mr. Jessup said that he didn't feel that I agreed to that. So DHL contacted me on the first day, if you see on July 29th, that on there, that they both knew that the package was going to be returned, and they never did that. Let's move down to Exhibit C. I have business legal services, and DHL service was contacted on July 14th, and my business services said, as you see right there, it says success. I've contacted DHL successfully, filed a refund request, but they said that clearance process is done and the recipient should receive the package. Mary Joy, as Mr. Jessup, just got through, testifying, Mary Joy has done everything required to receive this package over time to try to get this package received. We both have. Any other claims would be absolutely ridiculous. We paid premium shipping for this package, and that she has done everything, including mail or email documents to Mr. Jessup to try to help facilitate. D, if you want to scroll down.
I'm just trying to figure this out. This exhibit say the writing at the top. Who is that?
I have legal business services, and they said, "Hey, can you talk? Maybe we can help you out with this. We'll see if we can't resolve this matter." So they contacted DHL. If you scroll down a little bit, sir, to the next email.
Is this your writing at the top?
No, sir. That is a
DHL customer service lied to my business legal services on July 29, 21. It's in the clearance.
Yes.
I don't understand who's
Yes.
lied to my business legal service. That looks like it's coming. It's your business legal services, correct?
Yes, I have business legal services. Sorry. DHL customer service lied to my business legal services on July 29th, saying the clearance process is done. The box would be delivered in a few days.
Okay, so again, is that your statement or?
No, it's secondhand information, Your Honor. You can, if you scroll down just a little more, you can see my legal team emailed me, says it looks like the particular task we call DHL billing.
When you say your legal team, you mean I guess you have like legal insurance and you.
No, I have I own a large company, and I have a legal representation standing by.
Okay.
And they said, let's see if we could get this fixed for you. So basically what happened was they called, and I couldn't get them here today. So I just, put this information in there. It says we called and spoke to a representative. It says, and DHL basically said that the package would be delivered in a few days, which was a false statement, Your Honor. Okay. If we scroll down to Exhibit D, this is a email from the Bureau of Customs that may contradict the new information of the undeclared items. The Bureau of Customs, if you scroll down, you could see the actual email here. The highlighted information is written above. It says, please be informed that as of writing, no records pertaining to the subject package has been filed in this office for release. The assigned DHL representative informed us of the reason for their failure to file the goods declaration, to the reason your shipment is categorized under a high value shipment, which has to be processed through the formal entry. So really, we've been in communication with Bureau of Customs, and no one has produced any we have underdeclared. As a matter of fact, I did my best to give Mr. Jessup the information as he prepared the package, and that he said in his testimony, everything we could, including paying the ridiculous $520, and the package still remains undelivered.
Okay.
So that's what I have for you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I would object to the exhibits only to the extent that they constitute hearsay and the opinion of Mr. Asher in the description of the document. I don't object to the underlying document. I just object to his captions to the documents.
Your Honor, can I object to the under declaration? Because honestly, that's hearsay too. They're not here to take
Let me-
and testify.
I was going to mention this, and Mr. Bernardo, what your objection is to the highlighted?
Yeah, well, no, not the highlights, his statements describing the document where you're asking him, did you do this or did this come from DHL? And he's given his opinion as to what the communication says.
Okay.
For example, you scroll up the one from DHL customer service.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, DHL customer service lied to my business, legal services, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have a problem with the DHL screenshot. I
From here
just,
down.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll sustain that objection. But as far as hearsay, I mean, the other exhibit that I presented before was hearsay as well, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, do you have any cross-examination of Mr. Asher?
No, I don't, Your Honor. I think both sides so far have gotten out what they want to get out. I'd like to hear from DHL if they're so inclined to present testimony.
Yes, okay. Mr. Barcone?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. So, Your Honor, before I outline why DHL and quite frankly, Pack and Ship has zero liability in terms of why plaintiff shipment hasn't been delivered and therefore not responsible for reimbursement or payment of any damages, I'd first like to point out, which has been pointed out before, that plaintiff's claim in the amount of $2,700 is completely unsupported, specifically because of, as evidenced in the commercial invoice that we went over before, that was prepared by plaintiff. His declared value of his entire shipment of goods for purposes of customs was $1,100, right? And that's again under, I believe, Exhibit A, my Exhibit A.
Okay. These are your exhibits, correct?
That's correct. So you'll see
Okay.
a commercial invoice for customs purposes says that the total, the declared value of the entire shipment of goods is $1,100.
Okay.
Right. So, and then, on top of that, he shipped with Pack and Ship, and Pack and Ship charged him a shipping fee of $520, which, by the way, 309 of it was only what DHL billed Pack and Ship, right? Because Pack and Ship is an authorized DHL service point partner. So and actually our customer, right? So Mr. Asher is not actually even DHL's customer, but Pack and Ship is our customer. But that's a whole nother issue. But even if we were to use the higher of the two amounts, so even if we were to say, okay, he shipped for $520, the maximum total that plaintiff could justify for this matter would be $1,620, right? And so that would be total amount of the shipment, and that would be total amount of, again, what he paid Pack and Ship, not necessarily what DHL charged. But so to that point, $2,700 that he's demanding is a complete misrepresentation of the value of the shipment, right? So I don't even think we should even be entertaining $2,700 at max. I'm saying $1,600. That being said, the maximum dollar amount that DHL would be liable if, right, and that's a big if, we lost or damaged plaintiff shipment would only be $266.70. And this is due to DHL's limits of liability for damage and loss, which is governed by the Montreal Convention, which you may know is a treaty that governs all international air transport of cargo, right? So under the terms of the convention, DHL's liability would be limited to $30 per kilogram of the shipment. And based on the shipment weight, which I believe is 19.6 pounds, the conversion is something like 8.8 kilograms. Our DHL's limits of liability would be 8.89 times $30, which would essentially equal to $266.70. And
That's somewhere on the documents?
I'm sorry?
Is that somewhere on the documents?
It is actually. It's on Exhibit C that I provided. It's part of our terms and conditions. As a matter of fact, these limits are.
Your Honor, I never agreed to his terms and conditions.
Okay, Mr. Asher, don't interrupt. I just
I
asked.
apologize.
Well, actually, you did. Actually, you did because.
Mr. Barcone, don't speak to me. Don't.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry. So at Exhibit C, you'll see, I believe it's paragraph 6 of DHL's terms and conditions. It outlines, our it outlines the Montreal Convention and basically what our limits of liability would be. And these limits of liability are entirely standard to the air express industry, right? So everybody, every shipping carrier, you know, is governed by the same convention, or
Okay.
are governed by the same convention.
Okay, go ahead.
So again, you know, that would only apply, right? The limits of liability would only apply if DHL has actually lost or damaged plaintiff shipment, right? So I outlined these two facts just so the court understands that the actual amount in question should not be $2,700.
Where's the lost or damaged paragraph?
It should be paragraph 6. I'd have to take a look at mine. Let's see, paragraph 6. There you go. So it's the last paragraph. The last paragraph of 6.1. It says DHL's DHL's liability is strictly limited to I'm sorry, that's not what I'm trying to well, it's direct loss, right? Direct loss and damage to the shipment.
Okay,
Right. So again, I only outlined these 2 points just to show that his $2,700 claim is unsupported. However, again, the limits of liability here really wouldn't apply because again, plaintiff's package, as we have just talked about, is not lost, nor is it damaged. But instead, it's actually currently being held by customs in the Philippines. And to be quite honest, you has been out of DHL's control since May 8th, which is
Your Honor,
roughly.
that's hearsay information, Your Honor.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
That's hearsay, Your Honor. I object.
What part of it's hearsay, sir?
You're testifying under what customs says.
No, I sent you a
$55 billion
picture. I
company.
sent you a picture of the package.
You never sent me anything.
Just a minute. Okay. In regard to what customs has said, both sides have presented evidence of what customs, so I'm going to allow that at this point. I mean, you can't submit something customs said and then object to the other party, you know, saying what customs said. So
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
go ahead, Mr. Barcone.
Okay, so yeah, so as I stated, right, the customs in the Philippines has actually been in possession of plaintiff's package since May 8th, which is actually the day that it arrived at the Cebu Gateway. So again, to my next point, and I'm not sure if you've reviewed the timeline of the plaintiff shipment that I've submitted.
No, I
which is
haven't reviewed anybody's exhibits unless they're presented to the court. I don't.
Okay, so exhibit D.
Okay, exhibit D. Okay.
Yeah, exhibit D.
Okay. Go
So
ahead.
yeah, so again, this is basically a timeline of his shipment from point A to point B, right? So again, upon review, you know, it would be clear that plaintiff shipment was initially delayed due to the lack of action taken by the consignee basically to fulfill her obligations as required by customs in the Philippines in order to clear her shipment. And to be clear, when I say that, the requirements that are outlined by customs are imposed by customs, right? Not DHL. So DHL, you know, every shipment goes through customs in each country, and that customs bureau, that government agency, has different requirements that need to be fulfilled, right? And if they're not fulfilled, right, it won't clear customs and will not get delivered. And so again, if you review this timeline, I mean, we could go through the timeline, but you know, specifically on May 11th, the consignee was provided with information from customs, specific information with regards to what they required in order to clear this shipment. And again, if you go through the process, you know, it took a while for the consignee to provide the documents. And then on June 16th, the customs account manager basically rejected the applications because copies of the documents were provided as opposed to originals. And so, you know, consignee was informed of that. Plaintiff was informed of that. And so I believe, let's see where it is. Consignee agrees that they were going to, you know, basically have a courier send the originals. So again, going through that process,
It looks like on August 3rd, original corrected documents acknowledged received by customs. So now they have the documents necessary to release it. Is that my understanding?
they have documents required to start the release process and remove the shipment from a abandonment status because it wasn't able to clear customs within 15 days of arriving at the gateway.
Okay, so now,
Right, but so what they still need to do, what the consignee is still required to do, is that they need to provide a bank reference number to pay the duties and taxes, and then after that, it would be essentially released.
and how are these being communicated to you? By email or by orally, by phone?
So they're not communicated to me. We have a customs, I can't think of what the name of but essentially a customs clearance department over there in the Philippines. So the Philippines, DHL Philippines communicates directly with customs. And also customs is also communicating directly with the consignee, as well as I believe in some cases, even the plaintiff.
Customs is.
Customs, correct.
Okay,
And so, as you'll see, September 11th, right, the consignee is, September 3rd, consignee was told that she needed to provide this bank reference number so that they could pay the duties and taxes. Consignee agreed and said that she was going to go to her bank and on the 13th and the 14th to obtain it. Again, fast forward September 19th, she's still looking, she's still working with the banks to get this. And then again, we're notified on September 27th that ultimately, and I believe, my understanding is, based on the timeline here, is that consignee did eventually provide her bank reference number. I can't confirm that, but I could only assume that. But at some point, it seemed like it was going to be released. Customs, because it was tagged as red, because it was in the system so long, and because of the value, and because plaintiff is basically a one-time shipper, right? He's not registered with customs. He's a one-time shipper. He's shipping above a certain threshold, amount that basically puts all eyes on the package, right? So during, on September 27th, we were notified that during a physical exam of the contents that was conducted by customs, which also you could see on Exhibit D. I did put 2 Exhibit Ds by accident, but you're on the right Exhibit D. That basically they found multiple undeclared watches, which was a violation of law.
I was looking for, in this entry of September 27th, it says Exhibit H. Is there not an Exhibit H, or?
There is not. Sorry, there is not.
Okay. Was there a one time, or is that just
That was at one time. Yes.
so what is Exhibit H, or what was Exhibit H?
It's something that I've already produced. It's just a rearrangement of the exhibits.
Oh, so
So I actually, to be
there's
quite
nothing
honest,
for cus-
I actually wasn't going to be attending the hearing. I was going to have a local station manager attend. So I provided them with probably more detail than they needed. So when I decided that I was going to attend the hearing, I rearranged the exhibits,
Okay,
and I never.
so is there anything that supports this September 27th entry? Any email or other document that supports this?
The only documents that I have that supports, no. So the documents that I provided supports that they did a physical examination. Unfortunately, the findings of that are not provided to DHL at this time. They have been priority mailed to the consignee, and consignee has been notified by customs of this. But no, at this time, I do not have specific documentation that outlines that there were undeclared items.
So customs opens the box and they say, hey, there's some other items in here. And then they contact the consignee, which is the person that this document, the package is going to be delivered to, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay. And so,
And actually, they call it a warrant of seizure of detention, and that's what was sent to the consignee.
okay.
But I do not have a copy.
Mr. Asher, you don't have any knowledge of a warrant of seizure being issued or anything?
None of that, Your Honor. I mean, this has come in just the last couple of days. This this package is undelivered for 156 days. If you look
Okay,
at some of these.
Mr. Asher, it was just a question. I didn't want you to go in.
Sure. I apologize, Your Honor.
And so, now, okay, that's important though. If this is being tied up by customs, whether it's 160 days or 360 days, if customs is the one that is holding up the package, that's where the blame lies. I mean, that's where the issue is. So I think it's very important to know whether or not she's received that or not.
She has not, Your Honor. I mean, again, can't testify for her, but I'm the customer and I have not. And honestly, I'm the payer. And this information has come in within a week. DHL is a $55 billion shipping, international shipping company, Your Honor. And basically, they have not delivered on what they were contracted to do with the arrival date that they put in writing back in May. And all this is great and all, but
What writing are you referring to?
To that point, the
Just a
arrival
minute,
date is an estimation.
Mr. Barcone, stop. Mr. Asher, what document are you referring to in writing?
sorry, the timeline that was presented here by DHL. Honestly,
No, Mr. Asher, you're not understanding my question. You said,
Yes.
you said, despite what's in writing or what they committed to do in writing, what document are you referring to?
the invoice that I paid for $520.
Okay.
They gave me, I understand delays or whatever, but they gave me a projected arrival date. I paid a very exclusive amount
Okay,
of money.
well, we just said that the most important word, projected, so.
Yeah, but this is past a reasonable amount of time. This has been half a year.
Okay, and I agree that's unreasonable, but again, no matter how big a company is, you're not going to get your way with the government. The government has their say. And so.
Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. But he's testifying where the customs cannot be here and have not presented him with any information other than this here. And I feel like that this is more DHL blaming more people
Okay,
rather
well,
than.
we're going to find out. So, Mr. Barcone, what else do you have to present?
As far as exhibits, nothing, because that's the last documentation that we've received from customs. That being said, I would just, I guess, point you to paragraph 9 of our terms and conditions, which is exhibit C, I believe.
What is all this other stuff here so you're getting some information from Bureau of Customs. This is.
Correct. That's basically them, or that's the confirmation that they are examining the package.
So you are receiving some communication. You said earlier they only, I don't know if you said only, but you said they contact the recipient.
No, I'm sorry. So they provided us, DHL, with documentation showing that they are doing a physical exam of the documentation. I'm sorry, of the shipment.
Okay, so
However,
when you say physical exam, that would be when they say they discovered these watches, correct?
that is correct.
Okay, what are these documents? What are these date of these documents?
The date is,
I don't see any date anywhere. Let's see.
So the date is, hold on.
Somebody more familiar with these, Mr. Barcone, I would suspect you're more familiar with these than I am. Let's see.
Actually, I'm not, to be quite honest with you. It's, as this is, so in the subject, it says on, I guess, the second page of the exhibit, red list inbound shipment as of 24th of September. And the date is the 27th of September.
Okay, so that's so things are happening. I mean, apparently this is a document from Customs, and if it's dated September 25th, this one is, the date.
So if you look at the second page, it's the 27th of September.
Okay, so I'm gonna continue this for how much. I know things move slowly with the customs, but it seems like, at this point in time that they open the package, and I'm not saying it's accurate or not, but they're making an allegation that there's other declared items in there or undeclared items. So, Mr. Well, I'll ask both Mr. Asher and Mr. Barcone a suggested number of days to reset this. First, I'll ask Mr. Barcone. In other words, when do you think we'll likely know more from customs in the Philippines that we could reset this and have a clearer picture?
Well, I don't know, but I will tell you this, that, you know, again, the warrant of seizure and detention was sent to the consignee, and that outlined that she basically has 7 working days to respond to the Bureau of Customs. And again, consignee is being made aware of that. So, I mean, again, I could reach out, I could have our, you know, DHL Philippines Customs Clearance team reach out to Customs. But my understanding again is that at this point, the recommendation has been to seize the package. So if you want to reset this to see what happens and whether or not it actually gets seized, we could do that, and I could, you know, reach out and get more documentation and possibly even the warrant of seizure that was sent to the consignee.
Yes, I greatly appreciate that. I think that'd make a clearer picture for everybody.
Yeah, that's fine. I
What I'm
could do
asking
that.
you is
I
how many
know that
days-
we don't have it as of today's date.
And I realize that, but I'm asking you, in your experience, how many days should I reset this for?
I'll be honest with you, I have not had experience in such a matter where Customs is seizing a package.
Mr. Asher, any input in regard to me resetting this so we can get a clear picture as far as whether this warrant of seizure was actually?
Your Honor, this is a senior lawyer for DHL. I've gotten nothing but non-answers from these people. I feel like this is something brought in to cover somebody's butt. I believe this package
Oh,
is
we're gonna
gone.
find
So let's say, Your Honor, let's say 2 weeks.
Oh, now it's 2 weeks.
Well, I'm saying,
Mr. Barcone, don't interrupt. Again, speak to me, but Mr. Asher, go ahead.
This has been ridiculous, Your Honor. I mean, as you can see, they're trying to sidestep everything, and they haven't
I
delivered.
don't see that, Mr. Asher. I see that there's some issue going on at Customs, and I want to get to the bottom of it.
I do too, Your Honor, believe me.
Okay,
I
so
do
how
too.
long do you think that's going to take to get to the bottom? I mean, you have direct contact with the recipient.
She has not received anything, Your Honor.
Okay, well, that may change here in a day or two. So
All right.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to find out what you can. If this is all bogus, great. You can come back and tell me it's all bogus. But I'm going to give opportunity to both sides to figure out what's going on with Customs, because clearly here's a document that's on the screen. It looks like it's dated, I saw a date of 9/25. Where did I see that? Which is fairly recent, which coincides with the date of September 27th, when they say a warrant of seizure was issued. So the documentation does indicate that something was going on with it with September 25th through the 27th. So let's find out what it is.
Something has been going on, but certainly, not what they contracted to do.
Okay. Okay, so I guess Mr. Barcone said any 2 weeks. Mr. Asher, you have any objection to resetting it? I would say let's say reset it 3 weeks just to give it sufficient time.
that works for me.
Whatever you feel, Your Honor.
Okay. I don't know if Ben is on. Ben, are you on? No. Let me contact Ben 1 second. Mr. Miranda, do you have any objection to resetting for 3 weeks?
Oh, no objection whatsoever, Your Honor.
Okay. Hmm. 1 second, let me get that. Okay, so 11 o'clock on the September 26th. Does that work for everyone?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
October 26th, I'm sorry. October at 11 a.m.
That works for me. That works for DHL.
That works for me, Your Honor. That works for me, Your Honor.
Mr. Miranda?
Yeah, Your Honor, that works for me. I do have a request of the court
Sure.
to consider in light of the evidence today. It appears that this issue is really between Mr. Asher and Philippines Customs. DHL is stuck in the middle, but I would request in light of Mr. Jessen's testimony and the evidence presented that they be dismissed from the lawsuit with a zero judgment, finding a no liability on Pack and Ship's part.
I'm not going to do that this time until I hear everything that will be presented.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll see you all at October 26th at 11 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Will
Thank
there,
you.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, will there be new login information or will it be the same?
No, just use the same login that you have today.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
Same login for today as today.
Great.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right.
Goodbye.